Good day, everyone. It's great that you can join us again. Welcome. It's nice to see all of you again. And this is our last webinar in the series of 6 for the Become a Coach webinar series. If you are joining us for the first time, a very warm welcome. If it's your 6th time that you join, we hope that today will also be insightful and as meaningful as the other webinars that you've attended. Before we start with the presentation from Peter's side, I would just like to show you where you can find the recordings of the previous webinars. So if you have missed the other sessions, you can go, let me share my screen and I'll show you. You can navigate to shadowmatch.com, www.shadowmatch.com. And on this .com page, if you go to the very right, you'll see there's an events tab. If you click on events, it will open up all the events that we had this year, as well as the events that we had in the past. And if you go, let's navigate to February. That's when we started with these webinars. The first one was on the 5th of February, Who Becomes a Coach. If you click on Who Becomes a Coach, it will open up the window with the YouTube link. So all the previous 5 sessions you can access in this way. And those of you that missed last week's webinar, last week we specifically spoke about how do you sign up as coach. We did a demonstration and a walk through the ShadowMatch coaching system, the coaching programs. So if you've missed that, or if you just want to watch it as a refresher, this is where you will find it. You will find it on this What About Coaching. Today is the 12th. So today's webinar, the link for the YouTube will be added to later today or tomorrow. It will be live. But if you want to watch the ShadowMatch coaching platform with all the information, that's the webinar that you need to access. And there's your YouTube link. So just for everybody's sake, again, remember that your microphone is currently in the mute setting. I will enable the setting for you to unmute yourself and ask questions live towards the end of the presentation. I'm going to hand to Peter now to do the presentation, and you're welcome to also post questions and comments in the chat. I will answer, and also where needed, then present those questions to Peter at the end of his presentation, and we can then deal with those questions in the public forum where everybody can then hear the answer. Thank you very much, Peter. Over to you.
Thank you, Lizette. Just welcome everybody. Just to remind everybody about the purpose of these sessions that we have facilitated for those who are interested in becoming a coach. We are frustrated. I am frustrated with the fact that many people spend lots of money on becoming a coach. And once they have been trained and they've got a certificate or they've got accreditation, they still don't have a business. And then they realize, but this is not so easy. And then they've spent sometimes lots of money just to be at the point where they say, but I can't do this. I don't know where to find customers. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get along. I don't know how to start. And we want obviously to prevent that, because I think my honest position is it might be a bit misleading to train people and not be honest with them up front. And I'm not blaming anybody. It's just the game, the name of the game. But we want to do it a different way. So today is about the topic of training. So what about training? I'm going to share the notes so that we all follow in the best way to see what the points are that we will discuss. The first thing to take into consideration is the fact that knowledge is easy to become. To become knowledgeable about a subject is not a problem. Skills are scarce. They're not easy to find. There's a huge skills, and skills are different to knowledge. Knowledge is knowing the technical aspects and the academic aspects of a topic. Skill is to actually be able to do it. So the only way to become a coach is to coach. You can't swim. You can't learn to swim other than swimming. The point that I want to make in this webinar is that there's a shift currently in the knowledge framework of our society and the world of business. Knowledge is on the back foot. That's the best way that I can say it. Knowledge was a very expensive commodity up until a year ago. ChatGPT and there are now many other large language models. They provide almost all the generic knowledge that you can think of, and even more than what you can think of. They're very smart, they're extremely sophisticated, they can find information on the internet, they gather the information, they put it in a summary, they present it to you in a highly credible manner. So knowledge is not a problem anymore. Knowledge is available to anybody with a device that's linked to the internet. So the implication of this is that training methods will have to change. There's a huge question whether it's has got any meaning to let people build a memory of information, because it's not necessary. You can get the information in a few seconds if you need it. Skills are the future of success. We must be able to do things. We must be in a position to actually make a difference with what we can do. I'll talk about this a little bit during the presentation and the discussion, and I'll answer questions if there are. But there's a shift where knowledge has become less critical as a memorized faculty in the mind of the individual, or in the brain or the neurons, while skills are on the up. There's a huge demand for people who can actually do the things that we want to be done. So the skill of coaching. So let me just emphasize this heading. Coaching is more about a skill than what it is about knowledge. Coaching is a skill. Every coach has a unique style, and this is part of the skills framework of understanding the competence of people and the fact that people can do things. Not all coaches do the same thing. They follow different programs, they follow different methods, they follow different schools of thought, they follow different academic worlds. They're not the same. And we must make room for the fact that coaches have their unique style, method, and practice. The point that I want to emphasize is you learn to coach by coaching. There is no other way than this. You cannot learn to ride a bicycle by sitting on a sofa and chewing bubblegum. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You learn to coach by coaching. I can share a lot of information with you. Something just off my mind is that in general, somebody with a degree from university who has been in a job that is directly related to the degree that they have from a specific university only uses 10 to 15% of the knowledge that they have gained through the training of their degree, the learning content. And that's a good score. In some instances, it could be as little as 4 to 5%. And please don't quote this anywhere while it's on the video now. In some professional lines, it's about 8%. But let's be soft and say 10 to 15%, 20% in some highly sophisticated environments where the knowledge is critical for the everyday execution of the task. So how do you know that your coaching works? If you sign up as a coach or you start a coaching practice, how do you know that it works? How do you know that you are actually making progress as a coach? The first thing is you will enjoy the work you do. You as the coach will experience as much meaning and fulfillment from being a coach as your client might gain fulfillment and progress in their lives. It's a huge self-fulfilling thing. So the value for you as a coach is that you will enjoy it. You will experience this as a very meaningful venture in your life. And some of the sessions will be very tough. I've been through this hundreds of times. Some of the sessions will be very tough, but you will walk away from it and you will say to yourself, this was tough. But even the tough ones are good ones. You will experience a sense of fulfillment and progress within your own life. Then your client enjoys it. Your client will stay with you. It'll make a difference to their lives. They will come back to you and say, you know what, the actions that we decided 2 weeks ago, I've actually done it, and you cannot believe what happened. It changed my life. It really changed my life, because the coaching that ShadowMatch provides, all the programs are action-based programs. So you cannot walk away from a session and just have a discussion. That's not, this session is not complete, and the system will not even allow you to activate the next session. It'll say, no. What are the actions? What have you decided with your client to do? What must be done? If you don't capture those actions, the system says, you can't carry on. You're wasting your time and your client's time. The big thing is your client will stay with you, and they might bring other clients to your service offering. Now, these are the key points. I've decided to share with you what are the minimum things that you need to be capable of doing to start coaching. Now, keep in mind that I'm not saying this is everything. But if you start with your first client and you sit with your first client, there are a few things that you mustn't do. Don't try to do it. And then there are a few things that we can all do it. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. It becomes rocket science if you start doing it and you see how simple techniques really makes a difference to somebody's life. The first thing that I want to share with you is, don't, for heaven's sake, don't ask the person why. They don't know. And if they tell you, it might not even be true, because they really don't know. The complexities of why somebody did something is of such nature that they cannot tell you why. I shrink when I hear people in a crisis with somebody and they ask the person, so tell me, why did you do this? How will that solve the problem? How will that take the problem forward? So explain to me, why did you do this? Or why did you do that? Or why did you divorce your wife? Or why did you, whatever. And people do strange things. The point is, they might not be in a position to tell you why they did it because they don't know. Or they might tell you a story that does not reflect the facts. They tell you a story just to make you feel better and to make themselves feel better. So just don't ask it. Don't ask why. Why did you do this? Or why did this happen? Or why did you leave? Don't. Just don't do it. Don't try to understand the behavior of an individual. It's not so easy to understand why people do things and what are the building blocks behind what they did. The complexities of this is beyond our understanding. They themselves, they don't even know why they do things. Sometimes we can explain it. Why do you eat this sandwich? I was hungry. That's simple. Why did you go and run 10 kilometers? Because I want to be fit. That's straightforward. But if we get into the more intriguing side of life and the more complex behavior patterns in the lives of people, it's not so easy to plot the understanding of an understanding of the underlying motivations. The next thing that you must make a mental note of if you want to be a good coach is, don't try to explain to the individual why they are sad, why they are anxious, why they are negative about their work. Don't try and explain it. it doesn't change anything. It does not change anything. It makes the person feel better for 10 minutes and then they are back at square one. So, and the way you explain why they did something or why something happened to them or why they are in the situation that they are in might be completely wrong. I have worked at an alcohol and drug abuse center for the rehab of people that were addicted. And I always battled with my fellow counselors and coaches and because they asked the people, so why are you drinking? For heaven's sake, we don't know. It's such a complicated thing. Don't do these things. So just make a mental note of it. Then these are the things that you need to do. What we must learn, dear coaches, is to listen very carefully to what somebody says. My experience is that we do not have the skill of listening with everything we have. I have learned I've taught myself that skill over many years and very hard work. So what we must do is we must listen very carefully to what somebody say. And if they say something, make a mental note of it and ask yourself, if this person said this, how can we do something to make their experience of the world a little bit better? Not how can we explain this, or how can we delve into it to determine why they did it or why they said it. Just ask yourself, what must happen to put this person in a position that makes tomorrow a little bit better than today? We must focus. The second point is, what must happen to make tomorrow better than today? So we need to just focus on the fact that I want to help the individual, my client, to make tomorrow a little bit better than today, and the day after a little bit better than tomorrow, so that we build progressive improvement of their experience of their world and their personal space. Say to them, let's put an action plan together to make things better. Don't go, let's try to find out what happened and why you did this, or where did this start? What belongs to it's to the dead donkey syndrome. If the donkey is dead, just walk away. So say to your client, but I want us to plan on actions that you can take that'll make tomorrow and the day after and next week a little bit better than yesterday, the day before yesterday, and the previous week. So that your client starts to attach themselves to the process of living themselves out of trouble into a better space. And these things must be an action plan. Things must be done. And those things we must write them down and we must remind them about the actions that they need to take. Capture the actions and follow up. The system provides you with all the tools to capture the actions. They will send it to the client. They will remind the client. You will follow up. Everything is on the system. Everything is there. And the client can then go back to their portal and say, oh, these are the actions that we've decided on. Where am I with this? Because my coach will ask me about these actions. And the system will tell your client, remember, your coach will ask you about your progress on this and this and this. Please have an answer ready for your next session. So the system manages these intricate complexities of the coaching process. Capture the actions and follow up. Obviously, we must stay in touch with our clients. Stay with the guidelines on the system. Now, dear coaches and future coaches, the system provides you with everything. Before a session, you will get guidelines. The system will say to you, Your client has prepared the above. Be careful of this and this and this. Don't allow the discussion to run into this and this and this danger areas. Just hold to these focus points. So the system will guide you, and it's a 1 minute read, 2 minutes, max 3 minutes read to prepare yourself for your next session with your client. Then what we must do as coaches is to see ourselves as a project manager. And the life of my client is my project. And the outcome of this project is that every day must be better than it was yesterday. Every week to come must be better than the week that belongs to the past. The months to come must be better than the months that have gone by. So the project, my project is your life. And we are going to work together to put actions in place that you will execute, you will do the actions, and that will put you in a progressively better position in your life. That's it. That's it. These are the things that we must do. And the system will guide you through various topics in the process. And all these topics will be fully complemented by the system information, and you have all the results from the shadow match and. So this is the basic things. If you can do these things, if you can do these 7 things, you can coach. That's it. If you can do these 7 things, ask yourself, can I do this? If I have somebody in front of me and this person wants to improve his or her life, can I apply my mind, listen very carefully, ask the question, so what can we do to build a better life? Put an action plan together, capture it on the system, follow up with your client, stay with the guidelines on the system, see this as a project, manage the project as a good project manager. If you can do these 6 things, you can start coaching. So ask yourself, can I do this? If the answer is yes, go for it. Start the process. Then if we look at the training component of being a coach, this is the slide that some of us will like a lot. Some might like it a little bit less, and some might not like it at all. There's a principle in the world of coaching and counseling and mentoring, and it's being shared all over, especially in the theology with pastoral care of Christians and members of a Christian community and in other faith communities as well. We cannot determine who started this way of thinking or this term. It was either Ferret or Immelman or Haytink, but they talk about an agogisch moment. This is a word from the Netherlands. They refer to this as het agogisch moment, and it says a specific thing, and this is absolutely important for being a coach. It says that you learn the moment that you need to learn. If learning doesn't change your way of doing, you didn't learn. Now, we can spend a day on this, but I'll try my best to do it in 30 seconds or a minute. The principle is that somebody they land up in a situation where they say to themselves, I can't deal with this. I don't have it in me to deal with this situation. I need to park this, go find out, how do I deal with this? And then in that moment where the challenge is in front of them and they gather the information, then they are in the optimal position to learn and to change their behavior. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say somebody starts with the venture of flying his own aeroplane. And this is a great example. It happens to all young pilots and new pilots. So they do their license, they go solo, they do their hours, and the instructor sign them off, and they get their private pilot's license. And then one day they fly to an airfield that's very short, with high trees on the approach. And they try the landing and they abandon. And they try the landing again and they abandon. And they say to themselves, I'm going to smash this aircraft if I land here. Because landing on a short landing strip takes a specific skill. Now they fly back and they phone the instructor and they say to the instructor, I have a problem. I had to land on a short landing field and I couldn't do it. I need you to help. What happened there is they are now ready to learn. So that agogisch moment is when the person is ready to learn in such a way that it changes them. This happens when the learner, that bullet point here, this happens when the learner, the student or the coach, is in an awareness state of receptive learning to change. You learn in moments that are beyond your known framework of actions. And this is what I want you to take home once we are done with this webinar. I learn to coach by coaching. If I run into a situation with a client and I say to myself, this is a tough one, then you are ready to learn. Then you are in that moment that's been referred to by Fred, Immelman, and Heiting as het agogisch moment. It's that hot moment where the challenge in front of you is fresh and it's ready to be dealt with, but you're not sure how to do it. Then you learn. So building up knowledge without relevance to the point of application is not a waste of time, but it's not nearly as efficient as building knowledge in the moment where you are receptive to learn in order to change your actions and become more skilled as a coach. Now, what they say, what these guys on top of the screen, Fred, Immelman, and Heiting says is, that learning moment comes to us. We don't create the moment. The moment crosses our learning path. The situation creates the moment. And this is when we learn in the most efficient way. We learn in the moment when we are receptive for change and to change our behavior. You run into a sticky situation, you don't know what to say or do, it bothers you. This is the process. You run into a sticky situation, you don't know what to say or to do. It bothers you. This thing haunts you. As a coach, now you seek advice. The advice you find makes sense to you and it changes your way of doing. So you can go back to the client and say, this is our plan of action. But you must be in that moment. And the only way that you get yourself in that moment of learning is to coach. You coach to learn. You do not learn to coach. This is the most critical point. And if you have coached for 6 or 8 or 10 months, and you say to yourself, I want to do a certificate, or I want to be an accredited coach with this institution, or I want to learn more, then that's fine. But just give yourself time to go through a process of learning by coaching. This is the most efficient way of learning the skill of becoming a good coach. So what is my advice? If you are unsure, if you are part of this webinar today and you say, I'm not sure, sign up. Sign up. Then coach in a soft context. This is my advice. You get one program if you sign up. You can select any of the programs that's available. Coach yourself. Make yourself the client and start with a process and say, I'm going to coach myself. Or take a very friendly client, somebody like a family member or your spouse or a partner or a colleague, and say, I want to see this coach. I want to feel this coaching thing. It could even be somebody very close to you, like a parent or a child or a brother or a sister or a very good friend, and say to the person, I want to become a coach, but I want to see if it works for me. And I want you to tell me if it works for you. Then go through the training videos that's available on the system. There are more training videos on the system that you will be able to use in a long time if you really want to make it part of your skills. Keep going for 3 months or at least 6 to 8 sessions. Don't do the first round and the second round and say, no. Just stick with it. Just apply your resilience a bit and say, let me do 6 or 7 or 8 sessions. Answer 2 questions. Do I enjoy this? Does my client experience it as meaningful? These are the only things that you need to answer. Do I like what I do? And does my client actually enjoy the experience? And do the clients or the one client experience this as meaningful and fulfilling? Decide after 6 sessions if coaching works for you or not. If it doesn't work, dear coaches, if it doesn't work, just cut and quit. It didn't cost you a farm. It didn't cost you your house. It didn't cost you an arm and a leg. You've spent the sign-up cost of a few dollars a month. You've done 6 to 8 sessions. You've reflected on this. You've discussed with your client maybe, and you say to yourself, this is not going to work for me. This is not going to work for me. If it doesn't work, training will not make it work for you. If it doesn't work, training will not make it work for you. Training is to make it work better. Training is not to make it work if it doesn't work. Then, if you are sure, if you say to yourself, I've been through these 5 sessions, 6, this is number 6. I like this idea. I would like to be a coach. Sign up, get clients, coach them, stick with the system. That's it. So it's straightforward. Sign them up and stick to the system. The system is your protection and your guide and your coaching framework of support. A few practical things that I just want to share with you before we run away. You pay Shadow Match per program per month. So if you coach 3 people, you pay for 3 programs. Your client must pay you. So you must get the money from your client. We do not prescribe what your fees should be. We don't care what you charge. It's your money. So the question is, what is a reasonable fee? We can't really say. I'll give you some guidelines. In America, in the United States, in Australia, in Europe, and in Canada, coaches can ask anything between $50 50, and $500 per session. It could be as high as $500 per session if you do executive coaching, for instance, on career coaching, and it's a senior executive in a business. You can in the USA and those international countries that I've mentioned, the fees can be up to $500 per session. But then you must keep in mind, you've got to be a bit experienced and you've got to build yourself a little bit of a name. In South Africa, I was shocked the other day when somebody that I know very well was quoted coaching, business leadership coaching, career business development coaching for 10,000 Rand a session. So that's a bit steep, I think. I think what we should say in South Africa, anything from 500 Rand a session to about 3,000 Rand a session. If you coach in the corporate environment and these are senior people that you coach, and you are a bit of a senior coach already with a lot of experience, you can go up to 3,000, 3,500 Rand per session. But the break point sits around about 1,000 Rand a session. So some coaches are a little bit under that mark, 800, 750, 800 South African Rands per session, up to 1,500. But if you do business coaching and you coach people in a company where the company pays, obviously the fees are quite different. And the reason for that is there are more demands on the coach. You've got to keep record, you've got to score your coach, you've got to be very much on top of the process so that you can report back to the business, and that takes some extra time, and it also puts you under a bit more pressure. It must make financial sense to you, or quit the coaching idea for a day job. Just don't do it. If it doesn't make financial sense to you, then just for heaven's sake, don't do it. Unless your position is that you want to do this as a side hustle, say, and carry on with this later on in your life and start building capacity in a coaching practice. Let me give you an example. Let's say somebody is 2 years or 3 years away from retirement, and they don't want to do nothing. So they start building their practice 2-3 years before they retire, because and then when they retire, they have a base to carry on with the coaching. That's a great idea. Or a mother that's been working and she wants to spend more time with her children. She starts coaching on the sideline to build up a practice so that when the kids go to school, or there's more demand on her to run the family household and the children's lives, then she can coach during the day when they are at work. So there are more than one possibility for you to take up the venture of coaching, make a success of it, but don't spend lots of money on training without having a coaching practice. If you have built up your practice and you've got 5 clients or 7 or 8 clients, and you say to yourself, I want to know more about coaching, I want to build up additional skills and additional knowledge faculties in my abilities to deal with my client, then spend the money that on training. But don't spend it up front, because you don't know whether this will work for you and whether it will be a business that is viable given the time and the effort and the investment that you make. So we take the opposite approach. Our approach is start coaching, coach to learn, don't learn to coach. And you learn to coach by coaching. And that is the only and the best way to build a practice. Start small. Don't think that you're going to do a course and the next day when you finish the course, you will have 10 people at your door wanting to be coached at a fee of thousands per hour. Forget about it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Please don't be on that bandwagon, and don't let anybody tell you anything else. You have to be in a position to build a business. And that's more than just the training. So with that, this is what you get when you sign up. You get one program to coach. So you can immediately sign up somebody, you pay a fee, a monthly fee, you sign up somebody and start coaching, and you can select any of the programs that you would like to coach, be it a study method coaching for somebody in high school or at college or university, or be it career coaching or fulfillment coaching, or whatever one of the personal development programs there are on the system. There are 31 of those programs on the system that you can choose and do. Remember, if you sign up, dear delegates, you get 5 stress mappers to start your practice. Now, this happens, listen carefully how this works. You get 5, but hand these stress mappers out very carefully. And obviously you get when you sign up, let me just start at the beginning. When you sign up, you get an invitation to do shadow match and to do stress mapper for you as a person, as a coach, so that you see what it looks like, how the reports read, what the content is. So you get for yourself a stress mapper and a shadow match worksheet. Then over and above, you get 5 stress mapper worksheets to help you make contact with clients. Now it works like this. If you hand out these 5 and you have signed up nobody else, you are still on the one program, then the system doesn't give you another 5. The system, it's an automated process. The system says, oh, we've given Lisette 5 stress mappers. She's now used 4 of them, but in the meantime, she signed up 3 clients. We then refresh and we give her 5 again. So she has 5, she starts with 5 again. So she doesn't get 5 on top of, and now she's got 6. We fill it up and we say, if you sign up 3 clients from the 5 stress mappers we've given you, we will refresh and give you 5 so that you have 5 in the bank again. If you use those 5, we fill it up, and you sign up 3 clients, we fill it up again. And we want to do this to give you the opportunity without additional cost to sign up clients. And the stress mapper worksheet and report is probably the most powerful of all the reports for the initial sign up of the client, so that we do it's a very nice framework of discussion to have with your client in order to sign the client up for whatever coaching is available on the list. So access to all the training is available to all the coaches that are live and active paid clients on this, paid coaches on the system. You get all the marketing material to market your practice and the service offering that you have. You get 1 Q&A per month for coaches, so you can bring your questions and say, I ran into this problem, and ask your question. You can either send the question and ask us not to mention your name. I will handle the questions. I will provide you the best support and guidance that I can. I will do research if necessary to answer your question in the most responsible way, the most meaningful way. And these Q&A sessions are for free, and it's for all our coaches. You get full support from the office. So we have a team of highly trained and skilled people to help you. You get a monthly newsletter to promote your service. Every newsletter will be new and fresh with a new topic. You can either keep it or send it out to your network. You get 31 different coaching programs to activate according to the needs of your clients. You get your profile on the shadowmatchcoaches.com website, where you have a presence, and you get your own slug. We discussed it in the previous session, to share with your clients, so that if they click on this, they immediately land on your personal profile of your coaching service offering on shadowmatchcoaches.com. With that, thank you very much. I hope these sessions have helped you to make up your mind. And I hope that if you make up your mind to become a Shadow Match coach, I trust that it'll be a fantastic venture for you, and you become part of this initiative to make the world a better place. Remember the website, www.shadowmatchcoaching.com. And if you need any question to be answered, and if you need any additional information, send your email to coaching@shadowmatch.com, and we will be more than willing to help you with whatever challenges you face. With that, Lisette, I'm done. Thank you very much for being the host, and thank you to everybody who attended the sessions. Over to you.
Right, thank you, Peter. As always, very insightful. A lot of comments also with regards to specifically with the learning moment, and you need to coach to learn to coach. So that was very great, and I think it was for a lot of us. And het agogisch moment to use the Dutch. So thank you very much. I just want to, before I enable the setting for everybody to ask questions, those that have questions or that want to make a comment, let me just show you once again, where do you go to sign up, especially those that are joining for the first time or that are not already active coaches. So let me share my screen. We'll take one moment. So if you want to sign up as a coach, this is where you go, shadowmatchcoaching.com, and you can either sign up by using the right of the screen, sign up as coach, or at the bottom of this page, there's also a sign up as coach action button. So you can use that. Also on this website, those of you that have missed the session last week, information about all the coaching programs available here. And there's also a video that shows you a demonstration of the coaching system. Watch this demonstration. There are some more information webinars that you can watch, and also a calculator that will help you calculate, if you want to activate more than one program, what it will cost you. Just once again to reiterate that the costing per coaching program will differ from one country to the next. So please don't, if you are in the US, don't expect the SA prices, and vice versa. The system is intelligent enough to see where you are located, and it will populate the pricing according to your country of residence. Then I received one question that I would like to address just before I open up the floor, for other people. Let me just quickly check. There's just one. There was a question with regards to the 5 free stress mappers. So you need to understand, dear coaches and potential coaches, that it's an automated system. So there's a program that runs in the system that sees that you've got 5 free stress mappers. If you use those 3 and you sign up clients, then you get activated more. You get 5 more will activate. You need to sign up 3 clients and then 5 more will activate. If somebody buys a stress mapper outside of the coaching platform, so they go to shadowmatchreports.com or they go to their own personal portal on Shadowmatch and they purchase a stress mapper, that doesn't count in your favor to sign up a client. If you then sign up the client, it was not a client signed up via one of your free stress mappers. Peter, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Is that am I correct? Yes, because you need to understand we cannot work with a manual system because that will need man hours. So the system runs automated. It checks the 5, it sees you've signed up 3 clients because you've sent the stress mapper to Peter de Villiers, and Peter de Villiers is now a client. So the system says, hey, this stress mapper was used to sign up a client. Same with the second one, same with the third one, and now you get 5 more active. So it runs automatically and the system does the check with regards to the invite of the stress mapper and the person that you signed up for the coaching program. I hope that explains. We can't start with a manual process because we will then not be able to with a few hands we have to do all of that manually. Peter, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, it's just a wording thing, Lizette, to clarify so that everybody hears exactly how it works. You get 5. If you use 3 and you sign up 3 clients with those 5, you don't get another 5 and now you've got 7. You use 3 to sign up 3 clients. Then we refresh them and you've got 5 again. You use 3 to sign up clients and we refresh them, you get 5 again. But if you use all 5 and you've signed up 3 clients, you get 5 new ones. So we try to keep to make it available as you grow your practice, and works for you and for us. Obviously, it works for everybody. We provide based on the fact that you use them in a mature and an intelligent way to build your business and not just for the fun of it.
Great, thanks, Peter. So yes, use them wisely and use them where you do see a potential coaching client. I think that's what we want to say. They are very affordable. So if you're not sure that the client that you are engaging with is actually going to sign up as a coaching client, then maybe refer them to the Shadowmatch page where they can purchase the stressmapper.com, where they can purchase their own stress mapper worksheet. Alternatively, if you see that as a potential coaching client, use one of your complimentary stress mapper worksheets to invite that client so that they then convert to a coaching client. Great. At this point, I'm going to stop the recording and then I will open the floor for questions. So give me one moment. Let me just end the recording by saying thank you very much for the great presentation and remind you to please, if you want to watch the videos of the previous sessions, go to shadowmatch.com, click on the events tab, and with the dates on February and March on the Wednesdays, you will find those recordings.